Welcome to the Employment Wednesday podcast with Yvonne Shabangu. Have you heard of the scripture Hosea 4 verse 6? My people perish because of the lack of knowledge. The same applies to your career. When you don't know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, you are likely to make wrong career choices. But worry not. Employment Wednesdays is here for you to offer you all the answers relating to your career and offer you strategies to develop your career. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of Employment Wednesdays. And today I'm seated with that other profession that are always teasing lawyers. Apparently, they get paid better than us and all of that. So today we are going to find out. I'm seated with Oyena Dyasi and a senior trainee. Accountant specializing within the financial industry. And she is founder of the Young Professionals Hub, a digital platform that focuses on elevating, equipping young professionals to thrive in their careers. And she's also part of APC board as an assistant team leader, where she gets to mentor aspiring accountants, and she is a YouTuber. And also, I forgot something, and you guys are going to think I'm very picky and choosy. She's a graduate from the University of Johannesburg, and she is a senior trainee at is it the Big Four?
Big Five.
Big Five.
Yeah,
okay, okay. So you see what UJ does. Go and study, go UJ
Listen, please.
So yes, I'm sitting with Oyena. Do you think I missed anything that you'd like to add in?
No, that was quite overwhelming. I don't think I had so many hats on, but yeah, you did say everything.
Okay. And then we're probably going to find out more as we go on if there's anything I missed, ne? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we're going to start with our icebreaker questions.
Okay.
Yeah, ne? And here we must be honest.
Oh.
So,
I'm in
given
trouble.
that it's the youth month,
Okay.
obviously we're going to talk about current changes that are happening in our country. About 4 days ago, we had our elections. Who did you vote for?
I'm allowed to ask in a public platform.
Your
Is
vote
there
is
a
your
pass
secret.
option? Can I have a question, please?
No, I'm joking. You don't have to answer that. But did you vote?
Yeah, I did.
I'm glad.
We have to.
Yeah.
Responsible citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what is your current favorite show? What are you currently watching? If you're knocking off and you are looking forward to go home and you're like, I'm going to watch that.
Listen, let me tell you, I'm not a TV person.
Okay.
I am a podcast, so I listen a lot. So I
Okay.
listen while driving, listen while getting dressed in the morning. So the only show that I gave a chance was The Ultimatum, which I finished in one setting. Like, I was so glued up to it. That's how much, when something is exciting, I just want to listen to it all the time.
Okay.
So I don't have a current show at the moment.
What's your current favorite podcast?
Ooh, there is quite a lot. So Equip and Elevate by
Okay.
Anda.
Yes, I love her too.
Wisdom and Wellness by Mpumi.
Def,
And then The Diary of a CEO, Stephen.
Oh, you're my girl. I need to check out the Diary of a CEO.
Please.
The first two are also my favorite, always
Yeah.
updated on what's going on
Yeah.
there. Can I recommend a show that I think you should watch? It has me hooked right now.
Really?
Yes, and I think it's very... And I want to mention this because it's Youth Month. I feel like that show promotes young people.
Okay.
And I love how the actors in it were particularly selected. It's actually young people, and apparently the writers also young people. So I love that whole production. It's youngings. Please check it out.
Please, I will definitely.
Please do.
I
Like,
will
I'm so
definitely
hooked
do.
right now because I work quite a lot and I have other things. I've been struggling to finish it in one sitting
Oh
because
my
I'm that
God.
girl. But
Listen.
now I'm on episode 32, and I think it's got 44 episodes for this season, and it's so good.
Are you tempting me?
Please. It's so good, and it's 22 minutes each.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, so it's not too
Yeah,
long.
when you're taking a break, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll
please do
definitely
so.
check it out.
And then, if you were to define the season of your life using a song, what song would it be?
Oh my God. I'd use an old song.
Okay.
Wait on God.
Wait on God.
Yeah,
Okay,
Maverick
please
City.
hit us
Oh,
with...
guys. This season has been quite a lot. I'm a planner, so
Okay.
I normally know what's the next step, what I need to do. And this year, in fact, is a season on its own because God is teaching me how to wait.
How to
And the
wait.
waiting feels so good. I've never thought I'll be so much in peace with the waiting. And I've always constantly planned next year, this month, and that power has been taken away from me. So it really feels like I am going to wait on you, and whatever you have for me, I just want that.
Yeah.
So there are days where I feel like, God, why are you not saying anything? Because in the
Yes.
waiting, you want to have those words of encouragement around,
Sure.
okay, I'm going to do this for you. This is what's going to happen in the next step, but it's quiet, but I'm comfortable here.
I love
Because
that.
every step that I take, it's intentional and he wants that for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, your song, the reasoning behind the Wait on You is actually very aligned to my word of the year.
Oh, wow.
My word of the year is let go of control and allow God. And trust, it's hard. But I've been just saying, God, here I am, take me,
Take
do
the
as
will
you
also.
please, you
Yeah,
know.
it's the best
And
place.
one of the things that I was led to in getting that word of saying, let go of control, God said to me, go read the fruits of the Spirit. I've been meditating on that. And one of the fruits of the Spirit is patience.
Ooh,
What
sis,
do you
don't
do when
fetch
you're
me.
waiting?
Don't fetch me in the public platform.
You know what?
Absolutely
So,
relatable.
yeah, man. So let's go into it. Like I said, happy Youth Month, guys. I really hope that this month is an affirmation that we as young people can make a difference,
100%.
and we
Yeah.
can we can be the change that we want to see. You know,
Absolutely.
and sometimes we tend to look down on ourselves, like I'm young, doesn't make a difference, but wherever you are, from wherever you're starting from, you can make a difference. You know, it's in the simple things. Right now we're seated here and we're able to learn in English. We're able to learn things like Zulu and all of that. We're not forced to learn in Afrikaans because someone back in 1976 was able to fight for that. And we're so grateful. So I hope you take this month, you affirm others, and you look for innovative ways to make South Africa a better place for the youth, right? So what do you think the youth needs the most right now?
Oh, the youth needs a lot. But I think mostly is, I was speaking to a friend, when you transition the old leadership to new leadership,
Sure.
and the youth really needs that. But to do a seamless transition, we really need the youth to be where decisions are made, exposure where decisions are made.
Sure.
Because if you take a youth that is not exposed to the limitations of the country, the capacities that we have, the challenges that we have, when they get into the space of leadership and transforming this country, they'll struggle because they don't know what is wrong, what has been implemented, and what has not been working. So I
Sure.
believe they need an exposure to places and spaces where policies are made, decisions are made,
Sure.
and get an insight around where are we in the country, how much far back are we, and where do we need to go.
Sure. I love that. That's very powerful because now I see that there are young people in parliament pushing and all of these things, but I think more young people actually need access to that,
Yeah.
right? Because half the time we're talking about needs, we're talking about these policies need to be changed, and we don't even know the process, right? And half the
Exactly.
time we're like, why don't they just
up.
give us money for unemployment?
Yeah.
But we don't know what it takes to create a policy like that,
Exactly.
the economical moves we need to make for that,
100%.
right? So I think that's a very powerful one. We do need to, and also in as much as we're not given access, also us as young people, we need to take a step forward and put ourselves in those rooms, right? I love that currently we have like digital platforms, your young professionals hub, where you can converse with people that are like-minded,
Yes,
where
yes.
you can ask questions of interest, where you can be able to actually like know better and do better. And we've got things like LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's leaders on LinkedIn that actually accept our invitations,
Yes,
guys.
yes,
Just DM
yes,
the person, hey,
yes,
can we do
yeah.
coffee? Or
Yeah.
hey, I see that you're part of this and that, and I
Yeah.
have interest in that.
Yeah.
Can you put me on, or can I come
100%.
observe you?
Yeah,
And then you get to learn. Because sometimes I think that no one is going to push you if you don't push yourself.
100%,
You
yeah,
know, no
yeah.
one is going to do it for you if you're not doing it yourself or
Yeah.
showing some sort of, I want to do this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's been this trend, like I saw people were dragging my favorite, DJ Zinhle. She accused young people of not having skills. And I think a lot of the people misinterpreted her when she said a lot of the young people are unemployable. And I think most people jumped the gun. They didn't want to understand what does term employable mean, right? You know, and it involves a lot of factors. You know, you can have the degree, but do you have the skill?
100%.
You know, one of the reasons why I love like the process of training to become an accountant or lawyer is that they understand that in as much as you have the degree, but it doesn't mean you're qualified or you are the right candidate for the job.
Yes,
Hence, you need to go
absolutely.
through the training.
100%.
So a lot of the people were just eating her up
Yeah.
about saying we're not employable and stuff. What do you think are some of the things that young people can do to make themselves employable, to make themselves appealing, to upskill themselves, basically?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I actually watched that video and that uproar that is happening. And there are two things for me. I think it starts back to the educational system. So
Sure.
I observed that while I was just unpacking everybody's thoughts was what is being taught does not equate what happens in the workplace.
Sure.
So we really need to go back to the education system and try to align and make it seamless, because what is happening with the curriculum, it does not look like in the field work.
Sure.
So there's that gap. So you find that you've been taught for so many years, and then they need to retrain you at work for a
Yes.
completely different thing. And I feel like it's wasting resources.
Sure.
And then secondly, it's those degrees really that are just there for the sake of being there.
Sure.
You know, and I think that is setting up the youth for like failure, because I'm not going to name some degrees because I don't want anyone to be discouraged, but you have those degrees where you are done and you're like, okay, what job am I going to do with this?
Sure.
You know, you've used so much money, bursaries and funding from the government, but what are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
And I think the last thing is the degree that you're doing, do you know what it's supposed to do?
Sure,
You know,
love
you
that.
are there and you are studying, you're excited. We love graduations, we embrace graduations, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do for your personal career? What are you going to do for the government, the economy of South Africa with your job? And there's that gap, and we need to go back to high school. We need to go back to the system, education system, the curriculum. That's the first part of why we feel, and I believe that the youth is unemployable, and not because they are lazy. I don't think everybody is lazy.
Sure.
And then the second part is really if you have a degree. I'm in the CA stream, right? I'm about to qualify in a few months. I'm excited.
Love that.
But it doesn't end there. And my designation is just a designation. It's not a function of what I do.
Sure.
Like you said, to function in a job, you need certain skills. So they won't say, hey, we're looking for CAs, and then that's it. They need to look for certain types of CAs.
Sure.
Are you able to conduct yourself? Are you able to think out of the box? Are you able to network? Because now you need business, you know? So those are the things that a youth candidate needs to align themselves with. They can't do the same thing that I have, but they are online courses. What can you do in the interim that will make sure that in this economy, you meet the demands of the economy?
Sure.
You know, like the current demand is technology, and it frightens us. We don't want anything that's to do with tech, but that's the reality of our economy. Even though I'm an accountant or an auditor or in the finance space, I need to make sure that to be able to do my work, they will use robots one way or the other.
Yeah, sure
so those
thing.
are the ways that you need to be specific and also be broader. And then the broader skills are really soft skills.
Sure.
We look down on soft skills.
Sure.
I'm a big girl on soft skills, right? I believe so much that you can be taught technical.
That's
you can
true.
be taught how to do a job. You can be trained how to do a job.
Sure.
But how you do it, how you treat people, how you conduct yourself, that's a different ballgame. So you don't need to lose the soft skills of it, how to communicate well, how to network, how to present yourself, and all of those things, and how to lead other people
Sure.
with empathy and love, and then the technical aspects of things.
You know what? I love your answer. It's so packed. I mean, at this point, I even feel like we should have a different episode and unpack every little detail there. One of the things that I love that you said, one guest actually said it without saying it how I'm saying it right now, to say being able to connect with people is a superpower.
100%.
And people take those things for granted. I saw, not to make this about Digizinhle, but I saw somebody who said, what type of skill would you need to sell earrings? It's just earrings, right?
guys.
I saw the other day they came for Umatebe, who's also a corporate girlie, and she was mentioning the little things in the CVs that she felt like people need to improve on. People were like, it's just a sales job. Why are you guys being so pedantic, right? But it goes back to what you're saying. People don't understand. It's the little things that make you particular. companies need to be convinced why they shouldn't use a robot and they should use you. You understand that you're competing with a high functional thing.
Sure.
And like you said again, we run away from this technology. If something is going to take away your job, you better be looking at how to do better than it. You better be able to offer something that it can't offer, like going back to being able to connect with people, how you handle people. Robots can never do that. Robots can never be able to sympathize, to relate and stuff, but you can do that. So you need to utilize that professionally in the workspace, but people don't even do that. People are just like, I've got a degree, give me a job.
That's like the bare minimum, literally. That's like entry level to anything.
And that's why you'd see a lot of people are chasing their masters, their MBAs and all of that, because guys, undergrad is just that. Unfortunately, and which is why I really love what you said about the curriculum, working towards a curriculum that is so comprehensive that by the time you go to the workplace is not wasting money on training or anything like that. You're just on the job. And also going back from high school, because I feel like in every transition, there's a big disconnect. From high school, there's a huge disconnect into uni. From university, there's a huge disconnect into the workplace. And you find that company owners are frustrated by us saying these people have good grades, but they're not performing. That's why you would have a person who cum laude, but at work they're struggling. They have frustrations, mental health issues. And it's not because they're incapable, but it's the thing of, do you have the ability to be able to learn certain things? Being able to learn something fast is actually a skill that people take for granted, and sometimes I love also that you mentioned online courses. It is important that you ask yourself, like you map. I love that you said you're much of a planner. I love planning, right? But I'm more of what's going to happen if this turns out. Like I'm a result person, right? So I'm more like, okay, I'll plan, but is it going to give me the result? If I don't eat for 90 days, am I really going to be 30 kgs low? I'm that person. So I play out different outcomes before I actually pursue something.
Sure.
But with what you said, in as much as we plan, it's important to have sort of a career vision board, right? Where you say, okay, I'm an accountant, right? Or I want to be an accountant. Where do I want to specialize? Oh, I want to specialize in auditing. Okay, from junior, do I make senior? From senior, do I make director? And what can I do best to be able to get to those positions, 100%. Right? 100%. And how do I equip myself? Then that's where you start, your environment matters. That's where you start surrounding yourself, even on your social medias. Like I said, I love that all of these leaders, these corporate baddies and everybody is on social media. You start following people that are in positions that you would like to occupy one day 100%. And see the type of skills they have. Try to match them or top them, So yes, and then now we're gonna go into your business, child. Now that we're done with the country stuff, right? Okay. So in high school, what did you want to be? What was your dream job?
Ma'am, the only thing that I knew is that I love accounting.
Really?
I love accounting and maths, and I was like, what is there to be done? So I'm like, okay, there's accountant, there's bookkeeping. That's the level that I knew accounting to be. So if I'm doing accounting and I'm working, I'm happy.
Okay.
And then come grade 11, I did so well in physics, and then I was like, perhaps a doctor.
I love that.
And then my dad loved the idea. You know how parents are. He loved the idea. Hey, bo, a doctor, first doctor in the family.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, I don't see myself dealing with blood.
Okay.
I don't see the function of being a doctor does not appease to me, but the title, I was like, okay, no, I'm a doctor, so.
Sure.
And then I sat with myself, like, nah, I'm not going into there. I had a bursary, and my mom was fighting me. She's like, ma'am, you have a bursary. You're going to choose accounting where you don't even have a bursary for. I was like, God is going to make a way. So, and then that's how I started with accounting to university, although I didn't know the bigger picture about what I want to do and whether I want to be a CA, because there's no CA to reference at home. I didn't know that. I only found about CAs in university.
Okay. So now this bursary that you had, how did you get it? Was it because you were performing?
Yeah,
you were a high
they
performer?
selected top 3 from my grade 11 class, and then that's how they gave it.
All right. So now you decide, okay, you want to go for accounting. What universities did you apply at? And what was your inspiration? Did you have like a particular thing to say, I want to study at Wits? Because everybody wants to study at Wits. I want to study UJ or whatever the case may be. What was your process and experience in that time?
So I applied almost everywhere.
Okay.
And then I got accepted in UKZN, Rhodes, and UJ.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, I'm from Eastern Cape. Rhodes is like the closest place at home, and I've always stayed away from home. So I went to boarding from when I was 12. So I was like, let's go back home because I was in Durban. Let's go back home, closer to home. Rhodes is closer to home. And then my dad was like, nah, Rhodes, go back, go to Johannesburg. And I've never been to Johannesburg.
At all.
My parents have never been. So listen, they're doing it the second time now because the first time they took me to Durban, which they've never been to as well, to study, and they've never seen the place that I was staying at. I don't know.
Your parents trust you, and I'm glad that you turned out well, hey, so that we don't have to blame them and say
And
you
like,
sent
if
the child away.
You know, and they did it again. They put me in a bus to Joburg when I was accepted at UJ, and they've never been here. So, and then my dad was like, because I have a family that is this side in Pretoria, though. They're like, no, if you need anything, they're close by.
Sure.
So choose Johannesburg instead. That's how I chose UJ. I didn't really have much of a decision making in that. I really wanted Rhodes because it was closer to home, and I felt like I've been away from home for the longest time of my life. Let's just come back home. And then my dad's like, go for that.
You know, from what you're saying, I feel like you've been taught independence from a
Yes.
very young age,
Yes,
which is
yes.
I commend your parents for that. Though in real time, I think it looks tough.
I was like, do you guys hate me? What's going on? Are you chasing me away?
You know, but like I feel like it has probably shaped the type of woman you've become now, right? So looking at, I note that you mentioned that you went to boarding school, right? How was that experience like? At what age did you go to boarding school?
12, so I was going to do grade 7. So I did grade 6 in Eastern Cape, and then from grade 7 to grade 12, I was there. It was amazing. It was really amazing. I learned to really make decisions on my own. I'm the last one of 6, so my parents kind of showed me a lot. So now I'm there and making those decisions and having them to trust me as well.
Yeah.
And also the board master made me like oversee some of the people that I was studying with, my peers. So it really, when I look in hindsight, it was great. But there are times where they'd feed us the brown porridge. Ma'am, I'm only used to white porridge.
Okay.
They're like, no, you're going to eat this. I'm like, please call my mom. My mom is going to attest to this because they didn't believe that I didn't eat the brown one. They're like, we don't even know that. We don't
Yes,
eat
I'm
that
a
at
bell,
home.
innit?
See, I'm like, I'm a bell. I'm like, we don't eat that at home. So those are the challenges where you have to eat something because it's there. Secondly, you eat in times. You lose your stuff. You lose this. You need to constantly asking your parents for stuff. Those are really like, I'd say entry level, but there was nothing hectic that I experienced personally. Yeah.
Would you say, did it impact how you show up in terms of routine? Because my understanding with boarding school, it's like if you're not up by 5, the water is going to get cold, the food is going to finish.
Yeah.
So are you very meticulous about your times when you do what? And maybe that's why you're such a planner.
I was about to say, listen, you actually say that for me. That's why I am a planner, because everything was so programmed. You know, this time I'm doing this, at this time I'm back home, we're washing our socks, and Saturday they used to take us to the pool and bluff, and then we used to swim, we come back, we need to do our homework with each other. So there's always been a plan. So when anything takes me out of my plan,
You're like, no!
Even now, and in my adulthood, funny enough, I'm diverting a bit. When I was sitting and studying the 4 a.m. like plan, where I'm waking up at 4 a.m., it was like vibes at most. I'm like, I want to be a 4 a.m. girl. And then God was like, you need to be a 4 a.m.
It's not a
because you
want.
need to function well. The things that I'm entrusting you needs you to be disciplined like that. I was like, isn't just like for aesthetics? Like, no. You have to. So even when I don't want to, I have to, because if I don't wake up at that time, I won't have devotion. I won't go to the gym. I won't make it time at work. I won't do, because I do a lot of things. And when I do so many things, I need to make sure that my 9 to 5 doesn't suffer. In fact, they don't have to see that I do all these other things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So those are the things that I get to do due to being so programmed, and it works for me. It works for me.
I love that. I love the whole thing of being intentional. I feel like you had to deviate to that so that you troll me. I felt trolled because I'm also like, I really love doing things that are important. I love doing things outside of work, things that actually make my heart jump, like being seated here on this podcast. is actually by the fact that I'm able to wake up earlier, I'm able to
Yes.
do ABCD so that I don't have to do work at this
Yes.
point in time and all of that. So sometimes I feel like it's just for vibes and stuff. But you mentioning that if God has entrusted you with certain things, and you need to have the quality time to be able to do those things so that you operate at your best level. I love that. And then now that you decide to go to UJ, how was your experience at UJ?
Guys, undergrad, let me just be specific. Undergrad was a bliss. I was the most top performing student. You know,
Love
distinction
it.
left, right, and center. I'm happy. It's nice. I even volunteered to career assessment where we help students and some of the staff members to do their CV, interview skills. So that really broadened my understanding of the career space.
Sure.
Because I'm dealing with different people, updating their CVs and how to go through career assessments and so forth. So I did that. I stayed in a commune outside of campus. That also stretched me because I was not shielded as much. I needed to cover myself. And it was an experience. I really enjoyed it on an academic level. I didn't have much friends though.
Okay.
I had like one best friend and she left, and then I had another one, and it was just like that. I'd sit in the first rows of the lecturing room. So it was really nice. I think when I look back there, I could have made more friends.
Yeah.
I think I was so focused because I wanted to pass. I was like, no distractions, no boys, no friends, nothing, no partying, nothing. It's just God, me, and my books. So it was that experience. Truly loved it a lot. And then post-grad, oh, child. There's what you call CTA. Accounting students will know. It will test you. That year, no idea. I probably need another video for it. It was hard. First time attempt, didn't make it.
Sure.
And it was COVID 2020. Gave it my utmost best. Second year, I'm trying again now, 2021. My mom's like, I don't have money.
What? So do you guys have to, how much is CTA? Is it
CTA is like 55 in my years.
Okay.
5K.
Is it like, do you have to, how does it work? Maybe take us through, before we go in depth to your journey, right? Maybe take us through to the requirements of making accountant or going through into articles.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when I applied for Become Accounting, I applied because I was in UK at KZN that time, Durban. So they have a Become Accounting only. That is like general. In my head, I thought it will obviously pivot me to CA, right?
Okay.
Then I got to varsity. There are two types of Become Accountings in UJ. There's a BAc, which is a Bachelor of Accounting, and a BCom. BCom is more general. After you're done, you can decide to be an auditor, you can pursue finance or accounting.
Oh, it's broad.
It's broad. It's tax. It just gives you the entry level to the 4 disciplines, and then you have an honors year after whatever you want to do. Then the Bachelor of Accounting takes you straight to CA.
Okay.
So I did the BCom one, which I needed a bridging year post my 3 years of the degree.
Okay.
And then I did the bridging course, and then after that I had to do the honors year, which is CTA.
Okay.
So CTA, the last year then you start your articles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's really so hard. And you must pass everything at the same time.
Sure.
So it's unlike then in undergrad where you pass this and you take another leg and you do that and you just need to pass everything at the same time. And if you feel well, you need to come do them again. So that is why it's so tough. So that's my journey academically. And then once I passed CTA, and then I started my articles.
Okay.
So in my second attempt of CTA, I didn't have a bursary because my bursary only covered my undergrad.
Sure.
So my mom's like, I don't have money for you, ma'am. And I knew that this is the only thing that I want to do. I had no other alternative. What do we do now? I looked for a job in my most distressed time because first of all, I'm dealing with the failure. Now I need to find funding.
Because, I needed to take a pause there. Because, I mean, from how you've described yourself, you're a high academic performer.
Yeah.
And then you experienced this first failure of your life. How did that make you feel? What was going on in your mind? And how did you deal with it?
Sure, ma'am. Let me tell you now, I'm going to speak from a believing point. I felt God turned his back on me.
What?
Serious. And because I was so hopeful. I was so hopeful. I tried my best. They also gave me an attempt to do the SAP for all 4, right in Jan. I'm like, God, you give me another chance. There's absolutely no ways.
Yeah.
You could have left me fail first time around, but you give me another chance now, so I am going to pass.
Sure.
And I'm waiting for my results. I'm sitting in the room, and I'm like, my name is not there. I was like,
What's going
God,
on?
you hate me because why? And being in a high achiever, everybody around you is saying you've passed.
Yes,
They're like, you've
it's by
passed.
default, and I think that's
100%.
what stresses us the most is that you're not really okay. You're sad because you failed. I mean, but your pressure comes from everybody says by default that you
Yeah.
passed, you got the
Yeah.
job. That's why I think I've even gotten to a point whereby when I'm applying for stuff, I don't tell people because
Yeah.
I think people just think she
Things
got
are
it
easy.
and then when you don't get it, it's like makes you feel so terrible.
You know, sometimes it makes you feel, but they don't even feel terrible on your behalf.
Yes.
It's the inner thought that's feeling like, I've let them down. How
Yeah.
are they processing my failure?
Sure.
But you haven't taken time to process your own failure and look inside into your own and how you're feeling.
Sure.
I really felt like God had turned his back on me. I was like, do you want me to do this again? I don't have funds. What's your plan? And when we did the year again, I had to work. Now it's even worse. I'm like,
Yes.
child, there's no other way. And God said, you have no plan B, you're going to get this done. So
Sure.
I didn't apply to UNISA because you can apply to UNISA to all the other varsities that offer CTA.
Sure.
I was like, I'm not going to do this. If
Yeah.
I don't pass here,
That's that.
that's that. So, and then I'm working, I'm traveling to PE, I come back and then I have to ride. I'm using a bus at that time. In the morning, I need to go to UJ and ride. UJ is full time.
Yeah.
Work is full time.
Sure.
So 8 to 5, it's work. And then 8 p.m. to 12, it's study. So it was horrible. It showed me resilience, though, and showed me a good God that loves me. And
Sure.
I didn't think I would recover from that.
Yeah.
Then I did eventually pass.
To a person, because I feel like you guys take it so serious. Like lawyers take board exams. I always see how people write these long paragraphs on how when they finally pass their
Sure,
CTA and
sure,
stuff like that.
sure.
To a person that may be at home and that is going through that season of failure or having to redo it, what would you say to them?
If you want it, do it again. And I get these questions a lot. Someone told me that they did it 3 times. I was like, go again.
Yeah.
Go again. You are going to get it. And this
Eventually.
time around, do your homework. What are the issues? Do you have sometimes it's like personal issues. It's not academic. If you need to remove those personal or work around that environment, okay, I need to change how I feel. Or if I'm experiencing something that is affecting me mentally, I need to work on that. Because
Sure.
if you're affected mentally, it's going to affect you academically. It's finances. What are the ways to help me get my finances? Because if you're stressing with finances, you're not going to perform well. Secondly, do I actually study? Because sometimes we think we are studying.
But we're not. We're just reading through.
You know, sit with yourself. Get a mentor if you have to, so that you get someone who has been there and can guide you if you want to do it. But also, I'm cautious of the fact that some people want other people's dreams.
Oh.
They have no idea why they want what they want.
Sure.
So for as long as Oyena has it, I want it. She did it twice. I'm gonna make sure I did it 10 times because. And when you have it, you're like, what was I?
Yeah, that's true. If you're living on someone's dream, it always feels like meh when you get it. Like you realize that what was all that for?
100%.
Yeah.
So sit with that. Do you want it? You gotta find it. 2, this is really what you want? If it's not, find something else so that you don't waste your time in investing in something that you don't want. And guys, I need to say this. I can't take the credit. God is so good.
Sure.
I've done my life with God. You know, the heavens would turn their back on me for what to say it's all me and my intellect.
Yeah.
The ability to study the right things that they're going to ask on that paper.
Wisdom.
It's divine direction,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
divine insight, because the curriculum is also so big. You never know what they're going to ask.
Very broad.
So you need insight from above. So don't do it without God. That's on me for free. Don't do it without God.
Free advice.
Please.
Tubob.
Tubob, like that, cherry on top. Yeah.
Yeah, so love that. And then now you go through this thing of having to redo your CTA. What you have a moment where you feel like God has turned your back away from you. How do you then feel when you get those results that you've passed?
Did I not cry? And that time I was in PE.
Yeah.
Did I not cry? Because I'm crying filled with joy, but at the same time, relief.
Yes.
Relief. And let me tell you, Vaughn, I've always believed that I have a life beyond CTA.
Yes.
there was just this insight that says you have an incredible life beyond this year.
Bigger picture.
You know, and that's, for me, I have to say, I felt like that year was quite spiritual in a sense that spiritual attacks were there because of the life that was on the other side. So that's why I couldn't do it without prayer. So I'm feeling like I've conquered it. God has conquered it for me. I'm excited to start this life that I don't know how it looks like, but I knew the only barrier was this honors year, CTA. So I'm excited. I'm calling my mom. I'm crying. My mom can't even hear what I'm saying. I'm like, I passed. Also, our parents don't know this journey.
Yes.
It's like, you've passed your undergrad. What do you mean?
You know, like, I feel like what's always funny, I remember, so when I did my board exams, bookkeeping was a hurdle. Like, it's what gave me, like, and I took it for granted because in high school, I used to be so good in accounting. One of my teachers thought I was going to go into the accounting stream, you know. Those journals, I would chow them, you know.
Listen.
So then I tell my dad, I'm like, I'm struggling with accounting. My dad is like, that's easy peasy. I can even help you.
Oh, wow.
So then I show him a past paper for our bookkeeping board exam. He's like, what's this? What's going on here? You know, so you're right. Our parents don't know. And I think also our parents don't know how, like, these things impact us. You know, because to them, it's like, you failed. Sorry, do better next time. But
again.
with board exams, with your CTA, it's not like that. Yes, I can try again, but you need to understand this Dimasam. You know, you need to understand that, like, it hurts.
It does.
It hurts to see. And I feel like when you say it was a spiritual time for you. Like, sometimes the way God is, I always say God is the most funniest guy ever. He's very hilarious. He will take people that you thought wouldn't make it and they pass before you and you're like, that person wasn't that serious. They were not even studying. But then you realize in hindsight that, you know, there were lessons that had to be learned. There was character building that had to happen. Okay, now we're happy and all of that. Then how do you secure? Okay, before we go into your articles, the job that you're doing, was it related to your degree, or what type of job were you doing?
So it was one of the big four firms. So it was more of a audit support.
Okay.
So, but it was a permanent post. So you grow into it. So it's like an office that supports all the other offices in Africa. So anything that is audit support, administration wise, so that the guys on the ground just do things that are judgmental, that doesn't have to do a lot of admin and paperwork. So I did that. So it was slightly, but not actually. Funny enough, when I had passed, they're like, stay, because I mean, we offer firms.
Yes.
But because I was exposed to everything, I was like, actually, nah. And they really begged me. They're like, no, we'll pay for your board fees, because my first board was going to be in January. We'll pay for that. We'll pay for the exam. We'll pay for the board cost.
Sure.
I was like,
you're
guys,
good.
I'll be selling my soul if I actually sign up with you guys.
No, I hear that. You know what, Ne? And I know that you felt that God had turned your back on you. But doesn't God, like, didn't you then later realize how much He loves you? Because what we think is a bigger picture, God dreams much bigger than we can dream for ourselves. And He's in the detail. Because look at it like this. Maybe you could have passed your CTA at first glance and you got your articles, but you wouldn't have the same knowledge you had. You were not going to think of getting that other job where you learn much more, where you actually, I'm sure that job taught you that, you know what, I can have this job and have all the money in the world, but I'll still choose the other side 100%. Because that's what I love, 100%. Because that's what I'm passionate about. So I really, really love that, you know, in as much as things may seem dark, there's always light on the other side. There's always light on the other side. You just need to honor the season for what it is. If the season is crying, you cry. If the season is kneeling, fasting, you know what, failing, honor the season. Because when you honor the season, you open room or opportunity for the next season to let you blossom.
Oh, that's so good.
When you skip this season, trust the next season is going to dribble you further.
Oh, so good.
You know,
Love
when
that.
you skip phases, whether it's in your career, your finances, whatever, do the mistakes. Feel the feelings. Because when you skip all of those things, when you get to the top, you're going to crumble too fast. That's why sometimes it even goes back to what you were saying. When we don't have okay, we do have, it's just that maybe we're not fully trained yet. You know, sometimes the leaders up there, it's not that they're not good leaders, but it's just that some phases were missed, some training is missed, right? So when you go through the pruning process, you allow yourself to go through, you allow yourself to learn as much, you allow yourself to know better, know what to not to do. I'd rather, you know what, I'm not saying life must be hard. Trust me, in heaven, I'm one of those girlies where they say that one loves soft. But also, I get joy when I'm in trying seasons because it helps me build character. It helps me improve my CV. Look at how your CV was improved. Now you can say I worked at a top 4 firm and also I was able to now work at a top 5 firm. And also it gives you an idea that you can say no. Even no matter how good things are, you can say no, because we have a tendency of just saying yes to things because in society they're appealing.
Yes, yes.
Because the first thing you think of is like, oh, it's a big 4. Why wouldn't you say yes?
The pressure.
Yes.
And that was my biggest mistake because now at the end of CTA, I had so many offers. Like so many offers. I think 3 from the big 4 firm, and then 1 was the public sector, and then 1 was the bank, and then 1 was with my current one. Oh my God, when I ask people, because I'm confused, like I have so many options. I'm like, these are like, why even thinking twice? Go take that one. No, it's good. I was so conflicted, and God was like, that's your challenge. You trust people's insight more than what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, no, it's gonna put you. I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. And I was able to say, okay, shut the noise, listen to one voice, and make the decision.
Sure.
And I never looked back.
Oh,
And I would
that.
make the decision over and over again. And I just want to comment on what you're saying around where we've been and how we feel then. I would not change anything about my journey.
Love that.
If God were to say, let's do it again, I'd say, let me do CTA twice. I would not, because, it has transformed my life so bad, so greatly. And also working while I'm studying, I had not started my articles yet.
Sure.
So when I started my articles, I was here with everybody else. I was really great.
Yes.
And it awarded me so many opportunities in my current organization.
And you're already hands-on,
no
you know,
one would
stuff.
Listen, I was leading the first years, leading the second years. For the third years, I was like, okay, I'm doing too much. Let me hand over the baton. I was like, guys, it's fine. Let me give someone else to lead us and upskill themselves because I've been doing this for so many years. I sit in 2 committees. And just to also comment on one where you need to say no to some of the things. I was asked to lead one of the committees in our current office. And then I'm like, okay, sure. It's a great opportunity. And also when I share on LinkedIn, it's going to be great for me.
It's going to look good for my CV and all of that.
And the director herself is approaching me. It means I'm doing well. I'm like, I'm on board. I was driving back home and God's like, you didn't ask me.
No. I you know what? I love those moments where God makes you go back and say, ngiyabonga.
Yes, I was like, so if it looks good, you're like, okay, I'm taking it.
Sure.
But you always, anything that comes, you always ask me, God, should I take it or should I not? But now this is so good, you're like, yes, without asking. Go back and say no. I was shattered. I was like, okay, sure. And then when I was sitting and I'm coming back to tell her, but I needed to be wise because I can't say God say no. You need to maintain your wisdom, right? As Christians, you need not to be, you need to have that insight and manage things professionally.
Yes.
So it's like I have my board exams, which was last year. I have so many things that I'm running. I'm a second year. I need to make sure that I show up. She did not take it. She did not like it. She does not speak to me even now. So, but I'm happy now because imagine working under that person and working with that type of person.
God saved
was
you.
I was like, thank you, Lord. So there are so many opportunities, even now in my current career and in the phase where I'm at, where even it looks good on paper, I can still say no, and I'm comfortable with that.
You know what? I love that you sharing that is actually eye-opening. And to people at home, I would really say, before you take an offer, and I always say this to people like employment contracts or whatever, sit with it.
Yeah.
Review it. Don't say because everybody's at that big law firm or that big accounting firm or that mining company and say you want to go there. I think that's why it's important. Sit with yourself. Look at your dreams, your aspirations. What are you trying to do with your career? Where is it supposed to end?
Exactly.
You know, I always say to myself, I have 5 years in corporate. Anything beyond that, I should be teaching people. I should be lecturing. That's my core. And I know when that time comes, I'm not going to start saying, oh, because you've offered me a senior role, I'm going to leave. You know, if you're gonna give me senior role, it's within this 5 years.
Sis,
If time
please
hits
say
the
that
ceiling,
louder, please.
you know,
Please.
because we have
Sure.
this tendency
So
of
good.
saying, you know what is planned for your career, right? And then now people of the world are offering you these things, and they're saying, oh, you can be on this board, you can, guys, you will crush.
Sure.
Don't agree to things because they're appealing. Agree to things because they align with your dream.
Oh, so
They
good.
align with your purpose, with who you are.
Ma'am,
You
love
know,
that.
because you can easily destroy a good life that God has set for you, or whatever that you believe in. You know, you can easily destroy it with your own hands,
100%.
especially if you don't think through things. Because I feel like with us, a lot of young people, especially high performers, we operate on a high.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So anything that gives me that high. So we are able to move around things, companies, and all of that because more money, more
Ooh,
status.
More status.
You are aimlessly. Guys, don't aimlessly move before I go into deep.
This is a deep. It needs another video on its own. This
Before
is
I
deep.
go too in depth into it, but don't aimlessly move around.
So
Don't
good.
aimlessly accept offers.
So
You know,
good.
it's very important that you are centered in who you are and what you want for yourself. Yes, get guidance. But the problem is, don't go look for guidance when you are not aware, self-aware of who you are or what you want. Because if you go and look for guidance and you don't know what you want or don't have an idea, then whoever is guiding you is going to be the person making the decision for you.
100%.
You see? So if I'm going to come to you and say, if you guys, because I know you guys are going to do that. If you guys are going to go to Oyena on her professional hub, don't go there and say, I have an accounting degree, I don't know what to do. Don't be like that. Say, hey, so I'm good at this. This is what I've been thinking about. Do you think that's a good idea? What other options can I pursue? You know, which is why I love what you did there. You go and do auditing, you go and do finance, you go and expose yourself to many options so that you're able to see what you're saying you love. Is it really what you love, or is it for hype? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I really love that you had the ability to say no,
Yes.
even though it looked as though this is the opportunity of a
Yes.
lifetime.
Yes.
And you know what? I love that the God we save will always vindicate us. Because imagine how embarrassing it would have been if you said no to those opportunities and then you don't get anything at all. And then people are like, no, but your time came, you were in your prime and you didn't accept. But I love that,
to even go back to them because
you know,
Intloli.
you know, when you get a no, particularly from God, or whatever that you believe in, that is your higher power, basically. Believe that no is preparing you for the biggest yes of your life, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I want the tea. I don't know. Should I start the tea? Okay. Let's start with a day in your life. Like when you wake up, what do you do? What does your role entail currently? And before you go into that, how did you apply for articles? Was that process easy? Yeah.
So that process was fairly easy because in your last year, all the firms come. They have a career day and then they do their speech and then their presentation. So you therefore see, okay, does it align with what I want? Also, to know what it aligns to what you want, you must know what it is that you want.
Sure.
So I think for me, there are three things that I was looking for: flexibility because of the career that I know I wanted to build. There's a job and then there's a career. So I knew that career I wanted to build needs me to be flexible in my job.
Sure.
2, I must be able to grow within the industry. I need to be able to grow. I don't want to be just a number. If I don't make impact, I don't want to be there. And that's why I didn't take the offer from other big 4 firms because we're just like a machine working. And then so you make applications when they come, when
Final year. So
Yes,
you
final
don't
year.
have to start earlier. 'Cause
No, you
with
can
us
start in high school.
Or you can start
Literally.
applying as
Grade
early as
12.
possible.
Yes,
Okay.
they actually go to universities. Firms go to first year, second years. The earlier, the better. But I don't really think you should have a lot of pressure because you're still trying to figure out yourself what
right.
you want. But there will always be an opportunity. Rather have maybe 3-4 contracts, but don't limit yourself. There will always be opportunities. It's a rare not to have a place to do your articles as a CA. It's really rare. Maybe you could go because of you didn't pass. Maybe you can go through a medium firm.
Okay.
But on a regular basis, you will be able to have an offer. So get that. Your CV must be on point. Even if you don't have anything, don't put anything that you didn't do.
Yes, don't lie.
Don't lie.
Don't lie, child.
Please. And also anything that you did to volunteer. I think that what made my CV so good was the summer jobs I did and the volunteering work I did at UJ.
Sure.
So do all of those things while you're in high school. Expose yourself, volunteer. It's good to be involved in organizations, lead stuff.
Sure.
So put all those things that you do and prepare for the interview. Prepare as if you're going to be the CEO of that company. Know about the organization. Because why are going to hire you if you don't know the company that's going to be paying you? Know the role, which is you want to be a CA. They're going to ask you, why do you want to be a CA and why this firm or why this bank? So all of that process is not so bad. There's always so much help on the internet. LinkedIn, Young Professionals Hub is also there to guide you.
All right, love that. And then, so basically the requirements, in order for you to qualify for articles, you must just pass well.
Yes, you can have your... you know what? There's something going on in the universities because there used to be so many people with CTA, so firms only took those who've passed CTA. Now they are keeping students there. Students aren't really doing so well, so the firms have resorted to taking those who are still doing their CTA.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So even
love
if you're
that.
still doing your CTA, you can enroll. I would not advise that.
Okay.
I would not. Finish your studies, then start your articles, because your articles is not easy.
It's hectic.
It's so unless you have to, I always say, unless you're in my position where you had
You
no
need the
other
money
funds,
and all of these things.
So don't, because sometimes with what we were saying earlier on, people are expecting you to pass and start working. You are that girl and then you fail. Now they're like, you're not gonna be working this year, and you feel the pressure. So you're like, I wanna be a working girly, so I need to push things. No. Please continue with your studies. Get that done, and then you go do your articles with relax or poorly.
Okay. And then, in short, now, how was your board exams experience?
Well, I think because, I don't know, was God giving me a gift because I failed CTA. I passed my board exam first attempts, both of them.
Wow, love
So
that.
I felt like, but it was hard.
Yes.
The first one wasn't really, I didn't think I had passed because December my dad was quite sick. So I had to wake up every day in the AMs, take care of him and, all of that. So I didn't study. So I knew that I had failed and God was like, I got you. And then I passed that one. And the second one, it was really challenging. It was hard. I was failing throughout the whole year. And then I only passed when it was really like the final actual board exam.
Okay.
And the results came like in Feb this year. I could not celebrate for a month. I just had a sense of relief. Because the same feeling I had with CTA where I felt my life, there's something more beyond this. I was like, I need to qualify, guys. I need no board exam holding me because I need to spread my wings and do that. And with that year, I was challenged a lot at work because I'm one person with boundaries at 17. I speak a lot about this with my young professionals. Set those boundaries. So when you set them, it comes with consequences.
Yes.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah.
So I had to set those and be strict with that, that my studies comes first. And it's not that I'm not going to do my job. I am. But I'd taken leave, and I had leave approved long time ago. But now it's busy season, and it's like...
They always side-eye you.
And you know what? I made things easy because I was like, I can get someone to replace me. But they wanted me, and I was like, you can't have me now.
Yes.
And I had to stand my ground. And one of my counseling mentors was like, you can recover from a bad rating, but this one is quite important.
Sure.
So even if you have a bad performance rating, it's fine. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, love that.
So that was my experience. It was great. It was really great.
Okay. And then, take us a day in your life in 2 minutes. Don't stretch it. A day in your life. What does your role entail? What time do you start work? When do you finish? And also give us the tea. Bali patela sharp. Give us a salary range so that people at home can study more. So that you can pass that CTA.
I'll shock you. Let me get into it. So my day looks like waking up at 4 a.m.
Sure.
4 to 4:45 is devotion. 4:45 to 5 is journaling and affirmation. I started doing affirmations now.
Okay.
And then 5 to 6, it's gym and a good day. But I try to go 5 times a day, a week. And then 7 to 8, preparing for work.
Sure.
While doing that, I'm listening to either a sermon or a podcast or a song, depending on the mood. And then I'm at work by 8.
Okay.
So on my day-to-day, I'm an auditor, but within the financial service space.
Okay.
Another role is I do financial instruments. So I have two roles. So financial instruments, which is really like valuations and being an auditor within the financial service entities. Right?
Okay.
So I do that. Also lead team as a third year. So I'm an AIC auditor in charge. I need to speak with managers. How's the progress on the audit? I need to help the guys on the ground. And now with the valuations team, we're doing interviews now. So I'm busy with that. So there's a lot that goes on the day. But main focus and priority is to audit those financial service companies.
Okay.
Post that, I leave. I go to the gym. If it's not Wednesday, if it's Wednesday, I go to church. So I go to midweek service, and then I come back. I eat. I'm trying intermittent fasting. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I need to. So I eat, and then after eating, shower. And then I normally have an hour, 2 hour focused deep work on my other work, like preparing content for Young Professionals Hub, sending proposals, thinking, trying to be creative.
Sure.
And then maybe read some. I haven't been reading a lot.
Yeah.
And then devotion, and then my day.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
Batal. Let me tell you guys, articles, am I like,
Okay.
I don't know why we look like we have money.
No, but you guys out there on TikTok
Yes,
posting.
a day in a life, not
you
even.
go my elevator.
No ways. And so the range is, it's market related, but then different depending whether you have your CTA, your board or not. So that is you don't have the same salaries.
Okay.
So let's say first year is 18 to 21.
Okay,
gross.
per
That's
month.
audit firm.
Okay.
Yes. 18 to 21. So if you don't have CTA or anything, you're in a lower range. But if you have it, you're in a higher range. Then second year, you're looking at 24 to 27.
Okay.
That's still gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the same thing. If you don't have your APC, you're at a lower range. If you have it, you're a higher range. And then third year, it's 30 plus.
Okay.
I don't think you get 30 more than 35.
Okay.
So it's 30, 35. In between also depends. Do you have the thing or not? Then banks pay completely different range to audit firms. They pay on a higher range. I think on the first year, you're starting on like a 30.
Oh,
which
nice.
is like a third year salary with an audit firm.
All right.
So really audit firm. And they take less people than audit firms.
Okay.
So audit firms, you have like 100 intake.
Oh,
so
that's
that's
why
a
the
lot.
salary also would make
100%.
sense. So
Yes.
they rather hire more
Yes, because
and
they
keep
need
a
to
fair
audit
budget
so many things.
as opposed to hiring less and
100%.
paying
They
people
wouldn't
higher.
be able to even hire less because there's so many clients they have to audit. They need
Oh,
more
okay,
stuff on
all
the
right.
ground.
So you start work at 8,
8 to 4:30.
4:30. So since
There's
you spoke-
overtime.
I was about you guys get paid for overtime.
Yes,
Okay, love
luckily,
that. That's
luckily.
good. So you spoke on boundaries. So are you there at 4:30 and you're like, bye.
Yes, yes. And I always vouch for that. And you know why I do that also? I'm not just the hand that leaves at 4:30. Did you work?
Oh, love
I
that.
always tell the girls, I'm like, yes, I set these boundaries, and they see me sometimes. I hope my employer's not gonna watch this, but I arrive at 8:30, and I've made an arrangement with my current manager because of traffic, and she's happy because she trusts the work that I do on the
deliver.
ground. Exactly. You can't uphold boundaries and not do what you get paid to do.
Sure. Love that.
Do your work. 8 hours. Do your work so that because sometimes I've made this mistake as well. You get so busy during the day with other things, you don't get to do your work. When you have to do overtime, don't cry because you are not being productive during the day. So it's not because the company is now abusing you, so forth and so forth. So I'm the girl that leaves at 4:30. I don't take calls after 4:30. I don't have WhatsApp. Managers don't reach on me with WhatsApp. It's only via Teams. And I make sure that they have no reason to be even reaching out to me because
You've
my
done your
work
work,
is there.
yes.
And let me tell you, my challenge is that I'm a chatterbox at work. I speak to so many people all the time. So sometimes I have to come back home and put that extra hour where I was speaking
Because
to the
you were busy
receptionist
having
and
chats with people and stuff
so
like
be
that.
honest, uphold integrity and boundaries are big. Boundaries
Sure.
are everything. So those will make sure that's why I have a balanced life. I
Okay.
have friends, I go out, I have church, I have gym, I have all of those things because I have those boundaries.
Yes. And I love how your life is very holistic in that it's not just centered around, I just need to perform at work. You have an understanding that you also need to perform in your friendships, in your relationships, in your family, in your health, and all of these things. And, if you are not thinking about your health, your time, and nobody's going to come to you and say, go rest.
No.
You need to set those parameters for yourself and stick to them. And in all this being said, right? Yes, put your boundaries, guys, but always ensure that you're delivering.
Please.
Don't be a loud mouth, a loud boundary setter, but you're not performing. You're bringing the team down. You left at 4:30, but people are looking for you because you didn't submit your work. Then it's pointless.
No.
So be so disciplined that you know that work starts at 8.
Yes.
You had work at 8:00.
Yes.
And from that minute, you actually do your work until 4:30. There was a book I was reading at the beginning of the year. It's Uniquely You I think it's by Joyce Meyer, where she says, in order for you to enjoy your hours, the hours God has given you, or to enjoy your time, do not steal from other things. Like, do not steal from your employer. And the things she said, I felt like, but that's petty. So now I can't be on WhatsApp with my friends at work. But the way she explained it to say, if you're at work for 8 hours and you honor those hours as work hours, you won't feel the need to have to work when you're supposed to be having dinner with your family, because you sat through those 8 hours, you're not scrolling on your phone, you have integrity. And I was like, no, but Joyce, may I have integrity? And then she was explaining about how if you are doing something else at work when you are supposed to be working, you're doing something else that's not work related, then your integrity is flawed. Exactly. And we take for granted those little things. But it's the little details that make you a great professional. Yes. Some people want to work with you not because you're a star player, because you're very intelligent, but because how you handle things. You're very meticulous. How you articulate yourself, how you show up, how you present yourself, and all of those things, they actually matter. So thank you so much for sharing. Like, this was very insightful. I really wish I had booked you for 2 hours.
Listen, this felt like 5 minutes.
It really did. Hey, so this season of your life, in closing, what is this season of your life titled?
Be still and know.
Oh, love that.
Be still and know.
Yeah.
The only knowing of who God says I am, and be still in that.
Okay.
There's so many things that I'm trusting God for, and I haven't seen them happening now. And He constantly says, "Be still and know." So it's tough. I've been taking a lot of social media breaks because I'm like,
people are doing too much on social media. Eh? Everybody's buying a limbo. Everybody's getting a job. Everybody's getting an apartment. It can put you under unnecessary pressure.
Be still and know. So that's what I'm just resting into, and probably due for another one. But in the quiet space, that's where I get so much peace and comfort. Sure. Even if I don't see what I hope to see, but when I withdraw and close off the noise, I'm able to sit and I'm like, you have good plans for me, and you're good to me.
Love that. I love this season of your life, and I really hope that it bears the fruit that you're hoping that it bears. Thank you so much for honoring my invite.
It's been an honor being here.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I learned a lot. You know what, guys? How this happened, I felt like God needed me to hear everything you said. Like,
listen,
it was divinely orchestrated, like very divine. But thank you so much. It was very insightful. I hope we'll be able to have another episode, because I feel like there's a lot of things we didn't touch on because of time. But thank you so much to everybody at home. Happy Employment Wednesdays. Happy Youth Month. Do not forget that you are never alone. You are always gracefully anchored. You can and you will. Happy Wednesday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And you are part of Employment Wednesdays. Thank you for watching.